Greetings to all. Today in this video we are going to discuss about constructional details of a three-phase induction motor. Before getting into the topic in detail, let's start this video with the classification of electrical machines. The initial broad classification of electrical machine is based on the criterion called rotation of rotor or secondary part of electrical machine. On that note, we are having static machine and rotating machines. Usually generators, transformers and motors are referred to as an electrical machines, in which all the transformers will come under the category called static machine, whereas generators and motors will come under the category of rotating machines, in which we are having several more classifications. The very first classification is based on electrical supply. We are having two types of supply, one is DC and another one is AC. If the supply is DC, we can call such machines as rotating DC machines, or if the supply is AC, we can call those rotating machines as AC rotating machines. As I said earlier, a single machine can be operated either as a generator or a motor if it is of a rotating type. So a DC machine can be operated as a DC generator as well as DC motor. Likewise, in AC machines too, we are having AC generator and AC motor, but before that we are having very important classification in AC rotating machines, that is based on the supply frequency. A single phase AC supply can be represented in the form of sinusoidal waveform. It will be having a time period of 20 milliseconds and frequency of 50 Hz in our country. So based on that frequency, we are going to obtain an important term called synchronous speed in respective to AC rotating machines. The term synchronous speed is predominantly required for understanding the working of all the AC rotating machines. So the frequency, from that we are obtaining synchronous speed, and based on the synchronous speed we are classifying AC rotating machine as synchronous machines and asynchronous machine, that is non-synchronous machines. And we all know in AC we are having several availability or application for based on the phases. So we are having single phase and three phase synchronous machines as well as asynchronous machines, and we are having another name for asynchronous machine, that is induction machines. The word induction refers to the way that particular machine is getting operated. It means the way by which the rotor is getting a power on for its rotation. So if the machine is going to get power by means of an induction on the rotating device, we are calling those as induction machines. Unless all the machines used to get a power on the rotating part by means of conduction, by making a direct electrical connection to the rotor, we used to give a power on the rotor part for making it to rotate. But whereas in asynchronous machines we are going to get power by means of an induction. So without giving any direct physical connectivity to the electrical supply on the rotor, we are going to get power inducement on the rotor. So we are calling asynchronous machine as an induction machine. So it is purely indicating the way it is getting power on the rotating part. So in this video we are going to concentrate on three-phase induction motor. So it is as per Anna University syllabus in electrical machines 2, we are going to concentrate on unit 3, that is three-phase induction motor. So induction motor, as we discussed now, it is a type of asynchronous AC motor. The term asynchronous means both the stator and rotor will not operate at same speed. Sync means same and chrono means time, so it will not operate on the same time, so it will same speed. So such type of asynchronous AC motors is going to work based on the principle called Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. It means here we are going to get power inducement in the rotating part rather than by means of conduction. We are getting power by means of inducement. Hence we are calling such asynchronous AC motor as induction motor, and it is going to work more or less similar to transformer. So in transformer we used to give supply to the primary coil. By means of mutual inductance we are going to get EMF inducement in the secondary coil. Likewise, in induction motors we used to give supply only to the stator winding, and by means of electromagnetic induction EMF will be induced on the rotor. By means of EMF inducement we are going to get a power for its rotation. Hence we are calling induction motors, that is asynchronous type of motors, also as an rotating transformer. In transformer the secondary part is not a rotating part, but whereas here the secondary part, that is rotor, is a rotating part. So we are calling induction motor as a rotating transformer. So now we'll move on to the constructional details of three-phase induction motor. Usually electrical machines require two essential parts for its operation. So in static machines we used to call those parts as primary and secondary part, but whereas in rotating machines we used to call those essential parts as stationary part and rotating part. The stationary part is called stator and rotating part is called rotor. Now we'll start with a stationary part, that is stator of three-phase induction motor. The stator of three-phase induction motor consists of three parts, namely stator frame, stator core and stator winding. So in stator frame, in this picture we are seeing the frame of the three-phase induction motor. Whenever we are looking at any electrical machines physically, we used to look at only that outer cover of the machine. Either it may be of a distribution transformer or a power transformer or a generator or a motor. Whenever we are looking into the machine, we used to see only that outer cover. That outer cover we used to call sometimes as yoke, and here we are representing that as frame, that is stator frame. In stator frame, here we are having so many strips, and the purpose of having such strips is to provide proper ventilation to the three-phase induction motor. So as we said now, it is the outermost part of three-phase induction motor. Since it is an outermost part, it is going to support stator core as well as stator winding, and it is acting as a covering. So it is going to provide protection as well as mechanical strength to all the inner parts of three-phase induction motor, and it is made of die cast or fabricated steel. Fabricated steel means it is in the form of molded type, and we are going to cool down to some particular temperature to make such solid stator frame. And usually such stator frames should be very strong as well as rigid. Since by structure the air gap for such type of machines is very small, hence we are preferring a strong and rigid stator frame, unless it may lead to unbalanced magnetic pull. That unbalanced magnetic pull causes because of non-centric effect of rotor with the stator. Because by structure we are having small air gap, unless if you are not providing strong and rigid stator frame, rotor will not remain concentric with the stator, hence it may lead to unbalanced magnetic pull. So to avoid such problems we are preferring strong and rigid stator frame. This is about stator frame. Now we'll move on to stator core. This is the complete structure of stator core, and we can say it is a cylindrical laminated stator core. In order to get this complete entire structure of stator core, we used to prefer slices of iron part, that is stamping. So each stamping will be of thickness at least 0.4 to 0.5 millimeter, and all this will be of a laminated type, and all the stampings will be stamped together to get such a complete solid laminated stator core. And the reason for going with the lamination is to reduce eddy current loss, and all the stampings will be made of silicon steel material, and the reason is to reduce hysteresis loss. We are preferring particularly silicon steel material. And after making this complete solid laminated stator core, we are going to house inside the stator frame. This is what the stator frame we have seen in the previous slide, and after making a complete entire complete structure of stator core, we are going to house inside the stator frame. And the main purpose of having such stator frame with all this silicon steel material and the lamination is to carry alternating flux, and usually it will be having slots on its inner periphery, and the purpose of having slot is to carry windings. So the main purpose is it is going to carry alternating flux, and not to have alternating flux, alternating in the sense it will be a pure sinusoidal waveform. To expect pure sinusoidal waveform, we are preferring laminated type as well as stampings of material silicon steel. So that's all about stator core. Now we'll move on to the last part of stator in three-phase induction motor, that is stator winding. The stator windings are going to be placed inside the slots of the stator core. So in stator core we have seen the slots on its inner periphery, and these slots will be of three types, maybe open type, semi-closed type or closed type. So in this picture we are seeing the semi-closed type of slots, and since we are talking about three-phase induction motor, we require at least 3 windings. Per each phase we require a single winding. So we are going to distribute the windings. For a single phase we are going to have a single winding, and that winding is going to be distributed among the slots available inside the stator core. So this is for single phase. And in second diagram we can able to see the entire complete winding arrangement inside the slot for all the 3 phases. So after making such arrangements, we are going to bring those terminals of 3 windings out to a common box called terminal box. The terminal box is available on the stator frame. This is this terminal box, and in which we can see the terminals of all the 3 phase windings. So totally in stator we will be having 6 terminals, and here this we can able to see the 6 terminals. This is for stator. And here in the separate 3 terminal is for rotor. If we are preferring slip ring induction motor, we have to go for rotor terminals. Unless if you are going to use squirrel cage induction motor, we will not be having such rotor terminals. Only we will be having stator terminals. And now in this picture we are seeing the terminal box of slip ring induction motor, and we will see the connection of those windings. We have to prefer either star or delta connection, and those selection of star or delta is purely based on the type of starter we prefer. So basically in squirrel cage type we prefer delta connection, but whereas in slip ring induction motor we prefer star connection. So we'll see the star and delta type of arrangements on the terminal boxes, and if we are preferring delta connection, the terminals will be in the zigzag manner. So if the first for our winding, the first terminal will be in the second row first dot, and the second terminal will be on the second dot of first row. So likewise we are going to have a connection, and one end of those terminals will be connected directly to the supply mains. Here we are having a balanced 3-phase supply, so we are denoting those as L1, L2 and L3. So we are going to connect those with the terminals and the second end of the terminals will be given into connected to the winding arrangements inside the slots. So it may be of either star or delta. Is completely based on the type of starter we prefer to start the motor. And that's all about the stator winding. And one more thing is here the purpose of having the stator winding is only to produce rotating magnetic flux. In three-phase induction motor, the purpose of having stator winding is to produce only the rotating magnetic flux. So we can call such stator winding as field winding.